Roy, Investigation 1. Roy used to disguise himself as you, Your Highness, while out on bandits' raids and such. Word is, Uram's the one who put it up to it. You look so much like you, it made me wonder, is there some kind of blood relation? So I checked it out, but apparently there isn't. The resemblance, really just a big coincidence. Investigation 3. Even here in the castle, I hear he still sometimes disguises himself as you and pull pranks. Keep an eye out. Sagiri, Investigation 1. Sagiri is not only a very capable investigator, she's also a member of our family. At least that's how I think of her. I hope she feels the same way. Investigation 2. Nethergate Chief Trainer was a horrible woman. She thought that having a little girl come up to people and smile would catch them off guard, so she trained poor Sagiri to smile all the time. Investigation 3. I wanted Sagiri and Siguri to have a normal life, so we all live together now. In all at the last 8 years. I've never seen Sagiri without that damn smile. Nethergate destroys everything it's ever touched. Lyro, Investigation 1. You wouldn't know it to look at him today, but Cyro was once a great merchant. A legend, almost. He retired quite a while ago, but he decided to open up shop again for your sake, Your Highness. Investigation 2. Back in his prime, the scope of his business stretched all across Falena, and even beyond. You can see why his grandson Shinro would want to be just like him. Investigation 3. There were even rumors long ago that he sold arms to both sides in times of war, or even hired out mercenaries. It's even been said that the reason he retired is because the rumor got to be too much for him. Well, that's all history now. Karmista, Investigation 1. Karmista may seem like Sula's private secretary, but she's actually a high-ranking staff officer in the Army's Western Marine Corps. She's also served as Sula's bodyguard, and she's great at magic, so she joins in battle. Investigation 2. Like Sula, she's from an influential family of the Madara clan. She and Sula have known each other since childhood, and I hear she and Ipsara are practically family too. Investigation 3. The other day, I saw Saramista, Jean, and Nellis out walking together after their bath. A bunch of guys nearby completely forgot what they've been doing and just stood there staring at them. Fascinated. Sigure, Investigation 1. Sigure is one of our investigators. He might seem lazy, but he's... well, okay, he is lazy. Let's just say his work not exactly incompetent, and leave it at that. Investigation 2. Cleo was always telling him that those banks of his are driving her crazy, and caught them, but he refused. I guess he doesn't want anybody to see his eyes. Investigation 3. Until 8 years ago, he never had any expression on his face at all. It's a wonder he can show his emotion even as much as he does now. It's partly thanks to Fuyo, and also because Siguro cares about Sagiri and wants to help her. Shinro. Shinro's in Investigation 1. Shinro's an energetic young man. He used to have an item shop in Rafflet. His dream is to one day become a great merchant like his grandfather, Sairo. Investigation 2. You know, I thought he carried that huge abacus around just to impress his customer. I was wrong. He really does use the figure change. How strong is he? Investigation 3. Both his parents died when he was little. His grandfather Cyro's been his only family ever since. Come to think of it, it was right after Shinro's parents, Cyro's son and his wife, Cyro's son and his wife, that Cyro retired. Sun. Investigation 1. Sun is good at Kung Fu, as you saw when you faced him in the Sacred Games opening ceremony. No more gladiator games for him though, it's free now. Investigation 2. His hometown so small and remote that he is not on the map. To support his poor family, he volunteered as a gladiator. As a boy, mind you. But now that the Godwin have lost their grip on his village, he's free to do what he wants. Investigation 3. He gets along well with Nikea. Makes sense, they're both martial artists. They like to spar together. Lula, Falia. Investigation 1. The new Armus Kingdom has 5 major clans. Sula comes from the mother clan's Falia family. He is the commander of the Western Marine Corps. Investigation 2. Armus' 5 major clans constantly struggle over national policy. King Jolli's Fox clan and Sula Madra clans are both moderate faction. The Dojo clan's more militant and the Southern Mountains Corps prove. Investigation 3. Because he's from Armus, people were cautious of him at first. But now they're starting to welcome Armus people left and right, like Samista and Imsara. Which they're good at fitting in. Sunmin, Investigation 1. Sunmin is Retsu's daughter. She helped him in his restaurant. I heard her late mother tell her how to raise fish. Investigation 2. The restaurant customer all say that they always finish their food, even if they were to force it down. That's because if they don't, Sunmin look at them with such a big, sad eyes. Investigation 3. She told me if she ever gets married, it'll be only to be someone who cooks better than his father does. She may stay single for quite a while. Eyelids, Investigation 1. Well, this is an easy one. You know Lady Silence well, I'm sure. She's Queen Arsted's younger sister, and your aunt. Investigation 2. Some people say she would be more serious. They say it's unbecoming for a reality to be so easygoing, but that's natural when she gets out so much. And that was her job, observing the real world on the Queen's behalf. Investigation 3. She was never a morning person, and even as a child. I asked Silva about it, and she said it wasn't a case of low blood pressure or anything like that. Apparently, it was just the way she is. Silva, Investigation 1. Silva hasn't got much of a bedside manner, but she's one hell of a doctor regardless. Investigation 2. When the Queen turned her wrath on Lord Lake and scared other doctors away, she was the only one to stay and help. Because of that, she actually lost her license, and she's been practicing without one ever since. Good for her, I say. Investigation 3. She traveled more when she was younger, never staying in practical clinic for long. She wanted to be an army doctor and save a lot of wounded troops on the battlefields. That's how she met, you know him, Lorenzen. Investigation 1. Lorenzen is the apprentice of Babbage, the inventor from X-Rays. Investigation 2. They say Lorenzen respects Babbage from the bottom of his heart, but I think it's Lorenzen that deserves that respect. I mean, there he is, taking care of all the household chores all by himself. Was such a weird, eccentric, genius. Investigation 3. And if taking care of a baggage weren't bad enough, he had to visit with Lou every time he comes over and clean up afterwards. Seriously, I salute that guy. Bala, Investigation 1. Subala used to be a fisherwoman in Roughfleet, even rougher and coarser than Lun. And by that I mean she's a very energetic, kind individual, really. Investigation 2. Her fishing skill put men to shame. It's hard to believe with her build, but she can pull in enormous fish as if they were nothing. Retsu used to buy fish from her and serve them up in his restaurant. Investigation 3. The reason she acts like Lun's rival is because Lun stole her first love away. Well, that's what she says. Meanwhile, Lun says he doesn't remember anything about that. That sort of things happen when you're young, I guess. Takamu, Investigation 1. Takamu was originally a court official at the Sun Palace. Then Ferid ordered him to make an accurate map of Falena, and Takamu dedicated his life to that one task. Investigation 2. I asked Sigure to find flaws in Takamu maps. Not that I dope him or anything, I was just curious. When Sigure got back, he just went off yelling, "This map don't have any flaw. Don't waste my time like that." Investigation 3. One of his talents is a great sense of direction. They say never get lost, not even in caves or deep forests. If ever a man was meant for cartography, he is the one. Talgiel, Investigation 1. Talgiel used to be Lord Rover Steward. He even had a noble title, but he gave that up 2 years ago. Even without a title though, he's definitely become Lord Lake's leader, and everyone there counts on him. Investigation 2. After the uprising, word is that he actually planned to follow Lord Rover to the grave. But the way things were at the time, if he gone through with it, others might have done the same. That's why he didn't do it in the end. Investigation 3. He's as polite as he is stubborn. I heard he clashed with Raja the other day over how to make tea, of all things. Taylor, Investigation 1. Taylor's a newspaper reporter known for his wild ways of getting materials. You know that whole story about how he got arrested for being too aggressive with his investigation of the Godwind, right? Investigation 2. Know him well for quite a while. We're both in the information business, so we sometimes meet and swap tidbits. Only difference is that I got secret, he exposed them. That gets a court sometimes, let me tell you. Investigation 3. When he was younger, he probably wouldn't have helped us like he did with Doran. He used to hold his belief that a journalist had to be impartial and fair. But after he realized who he should be reporting for, he changed. Soma, Investigation 1. Soma is an energetic boy from Lord Lake. He mentioned you rescued him once when he was in trouble. Investigation 2. The other kids treat him like a leader. They all adore him and call him their big brother. Investigation 3. The kids got good instinct. One time, we had Siguri try to sneak up on him, and he noticed right away. Maybe he'd be good at martial arts. Urda. Investigation 1. Urda is, wait for it, an elf. This is Isato's childhood friend, and supposedly came here to take him back with her. Investigation 2. Elf thinks humans are barbarous creatures that cheat, betray, and kill each other. Not that I disagree, necessarily. Investigation 3. Nearly every elf is a master of the bow. Just 2 archers firing in succession can easily control a wide array. Vicky, Investigation 1. Vicky is a strange girl. We know that she owns the blinking rune and that she can teleport. Besides her background and her abilities, we're also trying to figure out her personality. Investigation 2. Besides teleportation, she also has the amazing power to sleep standing up. One time, as a prank, Wilhelm was going to ride on her face while she was napping, but he got teleported somewhere. Guess he was only half asleep. Investigation 3. Can't think of it. During an island liberation war 150 years ago, King Oboro had a teleporting magician on his side. One of the ancestors? Maybe? Olga, Investigation 1. Olga, an influential man, he controlled Waklar Eastern Iceland. He's got charisma and a strong sense of duty. Investigation 2. Surprisingly enough, he doesn't like conflict, but he hates compromising his principle even more. You can see why he and Lord the Bears didn't get along. The Bears was always flip-flopping. Investigation 3. His nature won't allow him to ignore those in need. He used to take in orphans and care for them. Aya was one of those orphans. Wabon, Investigation 1. Other than the master apprentice thing, cave dwarves don't really have any sort of rank in their social structure. But with that influential voices and the way other dwarves respect him, I guess you could say he's their elder of sort. Investigation 2. I hear they call him the Master of Mind Cards, and rightly so. It'd be impossible for a human to make cards the way he does. Well, maybe Babbage could pull it off, but if there's any gears involved, he's not interested. Investigation 3. When Wabon, Isato, and Al-Hazard are together, this blinding light stream of their intellect. Oh, with no head, no hair. Wasil. Investigation 1. Wasil, the man in charge of Blackwater Central Island. He got the thankless task of mediating between the Eastern and Western Island. I don't envy that man. Those two sides are on very bad terms. Investigation 2. It doesn't belong to the Godwin or the Barrow faction. If anything, he's on the Queen's side. He was a good friend with Lord Rovery and made a petition to save his life during the uprising 2 years ago. Investigation 3. Ever since Queen Arstud had the good fortune of marrying Farid, who also been hoping to marry an Iron Nation woman. He's still single for now, but it seems he hasn't given up hope yet. Wilhelm. Investigation 1. Wilhelm command one of the Lindworm Mercenary Brigade's unit. It can be quite a problem though, cause he loves to tease women. Investigation 2. The Lindworm Mercenary Brigade has about 5,000 members. Of course, not many countries are in the market for that many mercenaries at once, so they're broken up into small units, like Wilhelm's, and sent out to various jobs. Investigation 3. I happened to ask if he known Mueller before they both joined the brigade. He told me, unfortunately, they used to do odd jobs together, right along that line between mercenary and bandit. Yohar. Investigation 1. Yohar, an Alien Nation Federation soldier with a special assignment. He find and gather rune shell. At first he did it on his own, but they just assigned Nellis to work with him. Investigation 2. So he found a rune cell that destroyed, first time for everything. No way he did it on purpose, although now I'm hearing that he hasn't turned in the other cells he's found. Investigation 3. He said he knew about Nelly's family history. Yoran. Investigation 1. Yoran is a dragon horse stable boy. In Goldius, he was just in charge of Axe, but here he looks after all the dragon horse. Investigation 2. He follows Nyx around all the time, but he's not just a tag along. He keeps Nyx out of trouble. This despite Nyx being the older of the two. Investigation 3. He spent so much time in Gordius that he's like got no experience with women. And unlike Nick, he has a hard time saying no, so some women treat him like a plaything. Not that some guys wouldn't mind. Zegai. Investigation 1. As you know, Zegai was Lord Barrow's gladiator and was supposed to fight for Urim in the Sacred Games. Investigation 2. He comes from a small nomadic hunting tribe. They roam the continent, not caring whose border they cross. His tribe happened to be in Armus when he was born, so Armus considered him one of their own. Investigation 3. A few years ago, he was out on a hunt when he barely crossed Falena's border. He got arrested for looking shady, but they say it took over 100 soldiers to get him. That called Varus eyes, and he decided to take Zegai in as a gladiator. Dare I say, Investigation 1. Zero is tricky one, cautious too. I couldn't find out much. She's pretty, and she wears black, she got great magical power, and a very better teacher. Other than that, that woman is a walking mystery. Investigation 2. She keeps up a calm face, but people have overheard her grumbling like, the sword of night, blah blah blah, or why do I have to do this? What's she talking about? I'm working on that. Investigation 3. You know, I've never ever seen her sleep. Does she even? Do I usually watch women while they're sleeping, you ask? That's strictly confidential. Zunda. Investigation 1. As you may already know, Zunda is a cave dwarf. In order to improve her cave's ventilation, she always digging air holes everywhere. Investigation 2. Most dwarves just dig without thinking, and it's no rare sight to see a dwarf pass out from lack of oxygen. So Zunda's taken on the duty of protecting other dwarves from that sort of problem. Investigation 3. Many of the male dwarves are happy as long as they're digging, but the woman seems a little more practical. In Zunda's case, she scouts out of her way to help others. She'll look rough, but the dwarf love her and call her sis. Black. Investigation 1. Zweig's a bold scholar researching the Cinder civilization and a master of fighting with the staff. He's the one who discovered the ruins of the Sluice Gate. Investigation 2. A few years ago, when Lord Godwin first started gathering up Cinder civilization experts, Zweig told it was suspicious and didn't go. Lucretia heard that he refused and tracked him down in secret. That's how they first met. Investigation 3. Somewhere in Falena, he's got a secret laboratory where he keeps all kinds of research material. Lorelei constantly demands that he take her there, but he just keep on playing dumb. Okay guys, I think that's all of the Oboro files. Thank you for watching and have a nice day.